Stop the cap.
Why you being all dry? I don't like that.
Just throwing me off. I'm
not throwing you off. Why you looking away and shit? You about boring as fuck.
I said no. What the hell we doing?
Damn.
Alright, I'm gonna just walk away.
What happened though?
I don't know.
You said what?
She too loud?
She ain't come the right way. It's just me.
I walked up. Baby, I ain't even fighting for you, baby, because you too young. Let me give me 5 high five.
Pretty as hell.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Got a lot of hair.
All right, people want my opinion on this Andrew Schultz interview where he had the two, Fuhad, James and Fuhad. He had these two. One guy, I guess he looks mixed to me, and then the other guy who's probably Nigerian or some sort of Caribbean black or something, because that's what's over there in the UK. But anyway, Andrew Schultz made a joke about they were talking about the black woman effect, where basically black women are dating white guys. I've seen all this shit on Instagram and YouTube shorts and stuff, where the black woman dates a white guy and then all of a sudden he has a glow up and he's got the fresh cut, he's got the line up, he goes from being a nerd to being a swagged out white dude. He goes from being Bill Gates to Robin Thicke. And it literally and they always show the before and the after, and they usually got some mixed kids in the video and whatnot. And this is what I gotta say about it. So anyway, Andrew Schultz made a joke talking about well, that's because they're scared of black women and because black women got bad attitudes and they grow the beard out because they getting slapped in the face, right? And the two black guys on the panel, they laughed at it, uncomfortably, might I add. They laughed at it, and especially when he asked the question, he was like, so which one do you prefer? Like, damn, nigga, you trying to put us on the spot and shit like that. So, Andrew Schultz was doing the most, with that second question, but his joke about, black women and bad attitudes, I'm like, that's been a joke that's been known. Andrew Schultz, he makes jokes about everybody. I mean, like pretty much every joke I've ever seen, of him, he slips in, a racial joke. And this is the man that, put out Fetus Deletus, so when I listen to Andrew Schultz, I expect he hits everybody, nobody's excluded. And I don't know where black women think that they get to be excluded, right? Black men's stereotype is that, we have kids all over the place, when numerically I've already shown that that's simply not true, right? But that's the stereotype, because nobody really knows the real information, but that's the stereotype. Or black criminality, black male criminality, that's the stereotype. Oh, blah blah blah, let's make a joke. Oh, I was at the ATM and the black guy came up to me and I thought I was gonna get robbed or some shit like that. That's the stereotype, and there's enough representation of that negative stereotype, which is why people continue to run with it, like the stereotype that Asians are good at math, or that Asians can't drive, right, or some shit like that, right? And, that's Andrew Schultz's thing. And this kind of reminds me of Aaron Magruder when, he did the Boondocks episode, because somebody asked him, they said, and I don't know if they asked him specifically, but I remember there was this whole thing where it was like, why isn't there a black woman on the Boondocks? Because if you look at the Boondocks, it's Granddad, it's the kids, it's Tom Dubois, and his white wife, right? There's no black women on the Boondocks. There's no consistent black female character. You got Uncle Ruckus. There's no black women to be seen on the Boondocks. And I think the response was something to the effect of black women really can't take criticism. So everybody else can be poked fun at except for black women, right? Now, don't quote me on that because that was like that was a long time ago, and the Boondocks is no longer, the Boondocks. I mean, we had, John Witherspoon pass away and all that. So, this was like back in like the early 2000s, right? But he did do an episode. Aaron Magruder did do an episode where there was a black woman, and he addressed the whole. Basically, she was perfect. There were two actually. There was was it two episodes? It was the one where you had the kumite, where the black woman like was the one where what was that one? That was the one where Lionel Richie, the whole story about Lionel Richie getting his ass beat and his wife, and she was whooping on his ass, right? So again, that would be a stereotype from the Boondocks that speaks to what Andrew Schultz is talking about. Foot all up in his ass, all up in his nose, right? When Grandpa was telling the story, right? That episode to me was hilarious. But then you got the other episode from the Boondocks where there was a black woman that both Grandpa and Uncle Ruckus fell in love with, and they were looking for something wrong with her, and there was literally nothing wrong with her. And that was kind of like the moral of the show, right? All of a sudden, Uncle Ruckus stopped becoming, he stopped being self-hating, right? But, so I don't subscribe to the idea that black women are above jokes. I don't really care how much black people have been through, you know what I mean? Because, I don't like the policing of jokes, because that goes all different type of ways. Like I've come across white people, they get butthurt when black people make, jokes about white people or jokes about white women. Bill Burr went up there and he talked about, white women lifting their Gucci booted foot, over the fence into, the realm of oppression. And he's married to a black woman, right? And white people did not like that, right? They got all upset. The white nationalists and whatnot. Most people thought it was funny, but I'm saying you had an element of white people, they got all butthurt about it. Again, I just think it's just a matter of people being, too sensitive. I do think it's a bad look when you got, Andrew Schultz up there. He makes a joke about black women, and then you got two guys up there, laughing. Like, if Tariq Nasheed was up there, I already know Tariq Nasheed would have thrown back a joke about white women or Jewish women. You know what I mean? He would have thrown something back and made Andrew Schultz feel uncomfortable. And Andrew Schultz would have been like, hee, ha, ha. Okay, I get the message, like that telepathy, like, oh, I get the message. Let me not make a joke about black women because you're going to throw it right back. That probably would have been a better approach. You know what I mean? Talking about, white women and how dirty they are and how they up there on the internet. But he's like, yeah, well, white guys, they got to date. The white guys, they would have been dating white women, but they got sick and tired of white women not washing their legs. See, it's like shit like that, right? You could have thrown something back instead of just, hee and ha ha. But, whatever, that's in the moment. You got to be quick and, clever and all that other shit. You got to be able to do that on the fly. Somebody like Tariq Nasheed could do that on the fly. But the other thing, like I watched Six the Goddess's video, and I mean, she just kind of got off, like really breaking it down. In my opinion, she really was mad about several things, because it's not just that clip. People went and looked at other clips. They talked about how they don't find, the black women in Atlanta, they didn't see anything, and I'm like Atlanta and Houston would be the main places where you would see, attractive black women. I'm like, you start saying stuff like that, and then it starts looking like, okay, you're not really in the sisters anyway, right? The other thing is, I mean, we've talked about this before, the black men in the UK, they really date out. They really, really date out. It's like 34% of the black men that are Afro-Caribbean, right? They date out, or, and then you have like 24% of the Africans, right? Men, that date out in the UK, and they're only like 4.3% of the population, right? They were like 3.2% of the population. Now they're 4.3% of the population. So like, think about it like this, there's like 40, 41, 42 million black people in America, right? And, you know, I think it's 24% of black newlyweds marry out. And I guess it doesn't matter because it's percentages. But I'm saying there's a whole bunch of black people out here, right? I talk about the whole black women got too many kids and there's too many single moms. That's an issue. But I'm just saying there's way more black people here than there are in the UK. So I could imagine we're 24%. Like if I got 4 quarters and you take one of them, no, that's still percentages. That's still percentages. But I'm just saying if I have like a smaller piece of something, you know, just numerically, and you take a quarter of it, I'm probably going to feel that more than if it was bigger. You know, like with black people being, I mean, there's more black people in America than the entire population of Canada. That's how many black people there are. And people argue that, you know, they constantly, underrepresent, you know, black people's population numbers. But yeah, that's when there's a difference when they include immigrants. When they include immigrants, black people's total population is something like 50 million. When they include African and Caribbean immigrants, but just FBAs is only 42 million. Okay, because they added like another like 11 million people just off of the strength of immigrants, you know, to the black population. But, you know, over, you know, since I don't know whether I want to say it was like since the early 2000s, something like that. But I could be wrong about that. I'm just trying to remember the numbers from the demographics that I saw. I think on black demographics, you'll see that it'll say 50 million. But when you actually look at the population of just foundational black Americans, it's only 42 million. Anyway, what else? The optics are bad. And no, I don't think black women are beyond reproach. I mean, this is kind of contributes to beyond jokes being made about, because it contributes to, you know, why black women will be excluded from, you know, certain like conversations. If everybody else can be made a joke about and you can't, you know, I think that ends up being a problem. If nobody can take any pop shots at you. And I think the problem is on the back end that black women don't have any sort of counter, right? They don't have any real positive representation. So when somebody's making negative representation and there's no positive representation at all, that's where it ends up hurting more, where I could kind of understand, you know, why it ends up being such an issue. This goes into the, you know, there's nothing to counterbalance it, right? Like white women can go out here like Lana Rhoades, talk about, you know, drinking bowls of men's ejaculate and whatnot, and then you know you have, you know, all this porn and freaking what's the other shit, Pornhub and all these other websites, right? And white women taking it in the face by 15 dudes and everything, and yet somehow white women are still able to maintain their, you know, prim and proper and pristine and she's wifey material reputation. I mean that's some amazing shit to be able to do, right? Because they have enough positive promotion in the media to counterbalance that shit. People compartmentalize. They're like, oh, those are porn stars, but these women over here, these are wifey material, these are precious, right? They compartmentalize. But for black women, that doesn't seem to happen. And, you know, on the part of black women, I think we have to talk to black women about, your your representation is not just some made up shit. Your negative representation is not just some made up shit. Okay. While y'all are mad at Andrew Schultz for talking about an aggressive black woman and having, you know, a bad attitude and whatnot, we literally just finished talking about Teslin Figaro's behavior on the freaking Revolt News. We just talked about that. Okay. Everybody sees that. You know, Six the Goddess, she made her video, and I'm like, you know, weren't you the one that made the video talking about black mothers be like? Weren't you the one that made the video talking about how even black children talk about the bad attitudes and the yelling and the bonnets and the shower caps and the fucking bathrobes and the not being presentable and the yelling and the Jamarcus? What? Excuse me? What? Yes, ma'am. Give me the remote. And the remote is literally within arm's length. Okay? Y'all got mad at the Coca-Cola commercial where the black woman threw the Coca-Cola, can at the brother's head because he was looking at a white woman. I'm saying everybody knows essentially, who you are, what you represent, and you all are not really trying to do any job of trying to push back or counter that. I mean, I was watching the Pivot podcast or whatever. I can't stand that light skinned brother with the he's got the locks that are braided. I can't stand him. He's such a woman in his responses. He's a Gen Xer. He's such a woman with his response. The light skinned dude. Sorry, Cap, but yeah, it's the light-skinned dude. He's always up there saying some empty, stupid-ass fucking platitude. Well, a black woman is strong, and if you can't handle a black woman, then maybe you should just go get a white woman. Like, niggas, shut the fuck. This is why we don't like y'all, like some of y'all Gen Xers, okay? Because y'all are still on the, my mahogany queen. Y'all still on that dashiki woman stroking, trying to get some pussy from these women type of talking points. You know what I mean? Like, black women have bad attitudes. It's known. It's not a secret. And the young boys ain't dealing with it. We ain't dealing with, the single moms and the baby moms. There's a whole bunch of stuff that the generations below y'all, they're not doing it. They're not dealing with it. They're just not. Okay? They're just not. And technically speaking, I shouldn't say we because, I'm in that middle-aged crowd. You know what I mean? But, I'm saying I represent the line in the sand between the brothers that ain't going for that, versus, the older generation that y'all let the shit get out of control. Y'all were out here not checking these women about, what the fuck they were on and their behavior and everything. Y'all was too busy trying to go out here and get some pussy, right? You so obsessed with pussy, as Cap has reiterated so many goddamn times. You know what I mean? That these women think that what they're doing is perfectly okay because you wouldn't open your goddamn mouth and voice your opinion and say, hey, like, nah, fuck that. Nah. Because you were, your finances were not right, or you were living with her or under her roof and everything. I can't stand them pandering ass, black men, got a full fucking beard of gray and shit like that. And they always up there pandering, oh, black woman is strong, and they always got some big back wife or girlfriend or some shit like that. I can't stand them niggas. Okay? Y'all done messed it up. Shut up. But anyway, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought because that nigga he irritates me every time he opens his mouth. He always says some dumbass, empty-minded platitude. Well, the black woman is strong. I'm like, oh my God, here we go with this bullshit. No, they got fucked up attitudes. That's a fact. They got fucked up attitudes, and the white boys in the white community know they have fucked up attitudes. If you sat down and you asked a panel of white guys, that aren't racist, why they might hesitate at hollering at a black woman, first thing out their mouth they're going to say is they fear that the not just it's going to be a rejection, but it's going to be an over the top rejection, and the woman's going to bite their head off. That's what is in their mind. That's the energy that sisters have been putting out. The Teslin Figueroa, I'm a big dog. I'm a big dog. Where is the femininity and I'm a big dog? I'm a big dog. And y'all mad because Andrew Schultz makes a joke about the aggressive nature of black women, and then you want to act like, oh, it just came out of the void. Oh, this is white supremacy. That's what this is. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I mean? I mean, and of all jokes, like that's the most lightweight shit ever. This isn't what's his name? Who was the dude, the fucking guy that died? You know, the guy that was what's the guy's name? You know, the guy that was up there talking about the Rutgers basketball player. He's some nappy headed hoes. You know, who was that guy that died? I forget whatever his name was, but like him. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I can't think of what his name was. He was like in his 80s or some shit, doing, reviewing games and whatnot. But I'm just saying, y'all have successfully built this reputation over time, and y'all don't want to own it. I get the fact you're mad because they didn't push back even a little bit, and quiet as is kept, a lot of black men don't push back because they pretty much agree. Like it's known information. It's known that a black woman is quicker to chew your head off and give you attitude and all that other shit. Y'all brag about it yourselves. We're strong. We're not like those weak white women. See, that's when those statements end up coming back and biting you in the ass. Oh, it's cool to be a strong, independent black woman until some man stands up and says, I don't like that shit, or that shit's aggressive, or you end up standing in the corner by yourself, alone, separate from all other races of women. See, y'all think the shit is funny and it's cool until you get, basically called out and excluded because of it. The other thing, and this is where I gotta call sisters out on the shit, the whole glow up thing, the whole the black woman effect is a bunch of divesting type black women that y'all thought, oh, you think it's good? Yeah, because this speaks to how black women enhance white dudes when they're with us, and this is what black men are missing out on, right? This idea that anything you touch, you make it better, right? And this goes back to what I talked about with the black women that were trying to take all the shine from even Barack Obama, and they were like, no, Michelle made him. She was at the law firm first. I'm like, yeah, but the nigga already graduated from fucking Harvard. Like he went to Harvard Law School, all that other shit, and you're I don't know if he went to Yale or Harvard. One of them went to Yale or Harvard. But I'm saying they went to Ivy League schools. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, Michelle was already there. And it's like, yeah, because Michelle made it to where Barack Obama, she built that nigga. She made it to where he became president. If it wasn't for Michelle, Barack Obama would just be a bum in the streets. Y'all be running around trying to take credit for the shit, and even when it comes to white, like some of the style, the lineup, yeah, I'm sure that has black women's influence. I'm not doubting that, but let's be real. The black woman, what do you call it? The black woman, what's the damn shit called again? Not the black woman experience. The black woman, husband effect or boyfriend effect. That is a low-key dig at black men. Like, look at what you're missing. Look at what you're not picking. Look at what you're missing out on. You know what I mean? And then here you got a white guy that basically, isn't going for it, isn't, co-signing it. Still is like, yeah, I don't care how much y'all glow up a white dude. Y'all still got bad attitudes, and y'all are mad and butthurt because he said it. And then the two guys on the panel that are from the UK, didn't react and respond the way that you wanted to react. I'm like, there's a little bit of, you're mad because while you think this is somehow, get with a black woman because she'll glow you up. While you think that that's a selling point, every white dude out there ain't gonna go for that. And this is something we've tried to warn about, where it's like they don't go for that type of shit. Like this idea that, black women are going to go and they're going to swirl, they're going to date white men in mass. No, the numbers don't bear that out. A lot of y'all watching, what is it? Queens of Kings or whatever the fuck her name is, which we've come to find out she's paying for everything. You know what I mean? It's my house. I paid for this. I bought that Range Rover. It's my house. All the bragging about, oh, and this white man, and he saved me, and I was a single mom, and we produced all these children, and we just live a wonderful life, and nana boo boo to you black men, like all that shit. And then here you got a white dude basically saying y'all still got some bad attitudes, and makes a joke about it, and now y'all butt hurt. Y'all butt hurt. Black people need to stop, playing with the, oh, these other people, they love us. And that goes for both genders. Oh, we could just go over here. And if you're going to go over the fence, go quietly. Stop making fucking announcements. Stop talking about, yeah, man, it's just gonna be a world of black men and white women, or black women and white men, and fuck the other 50% of the black community. Y'all need to stop that bullshit. If you're gonna go, go motherfucking quietly. I'm not saying the black community doesn't have problems. Personally, like I said, I don't like the slander against black men. Because when it comes to a black man wanting to, have a family by himself, that he, just him, he's only got 39% of black women to choose from. I don't care that there's 2 million more black women. That doesn't matter. If a black man is looking for a childless black woman, he is looking at the smallest demographic of people within the black community. Childless black men, 54%. Mothers, 61% of the community. Fathers, 46% of the community. Childless black women, 39% of the community. And then again, when you break it down by age, you know what I mean? And you only want to date somebody within, a 10-year window of yourself. And again, that gets even more complicated because women tend to only want to date up and men tend to want to date down. You start looking at that window, it's less than the 39% for whatever your demographic is, because a 29-year-old childless man is not trying to date a 47-year-old childless woman, right? So it doesn't matter that they're both childless, right? So that demographic is even smaller than what you think it is, even after you state 39% of black women are childless. You see, and the same thing applies to the childless men once you adjust for the age group. You see? So, but anyway, like I said, I'm like, this whole thing that black women get butthurt every time they make it. First off, all that's going to do is make people make more jokes. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, it's just dumb to pretend like you don't know what your stereotype is. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, if I go to a comedy show, there might be a joke in there about black men not taking care of their kids. Right? What am I going to do? Stand up? Hey, I'm a part of the 54%. How dare you? Like that's not going to work. Like that's sorry. That's not going to work. Or there's going to be a joke about black men involved in gang activity. Hey, I'm not in a gang. I've never been to prison. You know what I mean? What am I going to jump up and protest? You know what I'm saying? Like sorry, the future overrepresents the black community. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I don't have music videos talking about that stick talk. I don't have music videos countering that shit. That book talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have videos countering that have millions of fucking views. Nobody's listening to the lifestyle of the educated lane. Nobody cares. You see? You know what I mean? So black women being all butthurt, like all that does is open y'all up, because now everybody knows, ooh, I can throw a rock in the black community and just fuck they shit all up by just, popping shots and whatnot. Just to agitate it every so often, let shit die down, let everybody forget for a while, and then somebody comes out and then throws another rock, because, black women are as sensitive as they are. And the thing is again, it's like what I was watching the clip of Dr. Bryant talking to Nick Cannon, and it was like where they were talking about apologies, and it was like, no, I don't need your apology. It's accountability is that you change your behavior the next time we have an interaction that revolves around the same situation and circumstances. That's accountability. It's not just you saying you're sorry and then you don't change your behavior. And again, the same thing applies. Black women nor black men's reputations are going to change if you don't change your behavior. But black women are defiant. They don't want to change their behavior. You know, I mean, y'all go so far, like Ebony K. Williams, y'all are going and you know, I'm not going to, I want my autonomy. I'm not going to follow a black man. I'll have this baby by myself. You know, you ain't changed that. That is not, I'm going to change my behavior so that I don't have this reputation anymore behavior. That's not changing your behavior. That's running off and doing whatever the fuck you want to do, however you want to do it. And a lot of y'all black women, y'all stand on that, and you think that it's empowering and it's recognized and people co-sign that shit. They don't co-sign that shit. They see you all as confrontational bad attitudes. I remember when Kerosene tried that bullshit. The reason why other races of men are reluctant to date black women is because of the shit that black men say about black women. No. They don't have to get the perception of bad attitudes coming from black men to know that black women have bad attitudes. You know, the way that y'all out here, cursing people out, with your masculine energy and everything else. And then when somebody makes a joke about it, you're all butthurt. And then people want to sit there and start trying to bring up, Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks and shit. Like all of a sudden, now everybody, all the people that want to defend black women want to bring up Sojourner Truth and shit like that. Ain't I a woman? It's like, really, you were that bitch yesterday. Now all of a sudden it turns into, ain't I a woman? I'm like, okay. So, I mean, the energy that you put out, y'all don't seem to like it when it gets reciprocated. Y'all don't like when people hee and ha ha about it. And it's sad because there's a lot of black women out there that aren't like that aren't aggressive, that don't have that attitude. But, however, the loudest ones are. Right? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? That's how it works. And this is why, if black men and women want to change their image, you got to control your image and you got to control your narrative. And unfortunately, a lot of black people, they like to. This is why, I don't say Cap and I get into it, but this is why I get frustrated with the whole, that whole turning lemons into lemonade bullshit. When it comes to the black community, there's a lot of shit I want tossed out because to me, it's like the fruit of the poisonous tree. I'm like, nah. We function like this because of the situation that we've been given. And then a lot of black people build an identity around that. And then they go out into the world, reinforcing the stereotype because they believe themselves to be uniquely different when it's based off of the situation and the circumstance that the system of white supremacy put us in. And I'm like, what would we be like if we were never put into that environment? Right? It's the same thing as what you see, like, again, the Pakistani population in the UK versus Pakistani population in the United States. Pakistanis in the United States are not a part of the prison industrial complex. You will almost never see a Pakistani in prison in the United States. However, when you go to the UK, they're the face of the prison industrial complex. Them and blacks. Right? They're the face of it. They're the face of the narco economy. They're the face of grooming. You got the white people always talking about grooming gangs and shit. Like, they're the face of it. But again, like the term packy, like, we don't have that in the United States. Nobody says that in the United States. I didn't even know it was a derogative term. I remember there was the Pakistani girl that I was in grad school with, and I was just joking, and I was like, oh, I love you. You're my little Packy. And she was like, oh, she had this mortified face. I didn't even know that shit was a racial slur. I was like, damn. I was like, oh, my bad. She was like, you can't say that. I was like, I can? I was like, oh, because that's what they say. That's what the white people call the Pakistani people in the UK. We don't have that over here. Like, literally, I had not the slightest clue that was like the equivalent of the N-word, but for Pakistanis. I had no clue. You see what I'm saying? So, it's like, what would Pakistanis be if they were in a different environment? If they weren't in the UK and they weren't marginalized and discriminated against like young Muslim men are discriminated against in the UK. You know, they would look like what you see in, America. Pakistanis run gas stations, they're business owners, they're doctors, they're engineers, right? That's what they represent here. If you say, if I'm in the United States and I say, Pakistani, give me an occupation, somebody's going to say engineer, doctor, or owns a gas station. In the UK, what will they say? I don't know. You guys tell me. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be any one of those. You know what I mean? They'll probably go right to some criminal activity or something like that. Right? So a lot of times black people, and a lot of it has a lot to do with a lot of cope. Black people want to feel powerful. They want to feel strong. They want to feel that they're not weak. So they embrace all these sort of ideas, you know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, I personally think women should be soft and they should be feminine. So when you got black women talking about how they're hard they are, you know what I mean? Or how hard they've had to be and everything, I'm like, that's going to cause your femininity to take a hit. And it's one thing to say, I'm in this position because I had to be, which is what black women like to revert to and run back to. I had to be strong. I had to do this. I had to do that. But it has evolved into, I want to do this. This is a positive female identity for us. And we're strong and can't nobody tell us I'm a big dog. I'm a big dog. All that shit. Until it comes to the dating and relationship time. And then you end up with a white dude or any other dude, including black men, saying, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that in my bedroom. No. I don't want a big dog in my bedroom. I don't want that in my bedroom. I don't want a chick that's overly aggressive. I don't want a chick that's trying to pull her dick out on. I don't want that. You know what I mean? And then somebody makes a joke about it and everybody gets all butthurt. Oh, you shouldn't say that about our black queens. And it just seems so crazy, especially with the Gen Xers that go up there and say this bullshit. It just seems so crazy. Like, we have massive relationship problems with our own women. You got a whole fiasco that took place surrounding Ebony K. Williams talking about, and think about how long and drawn out that was. I'm not dating truck drivers to fucking, her going up on the griot, telling women you need to go and get your MRS and not wait. And then then the whole, I'm having a baby. Now she's, having the baby and all this other. Think about how all that went down. And there's all these conversations, about that. Like, and then, people are going to act like we don't have these problems. And then they're going to get up there because they want to defend black women. Don't talk about our queens. Don't talk about our wonderful, beautiful Afro-Asiatic queens. Like I'm like to me, it's just pandering, yo. The pandering is crazy. It's crazy because y'all can go up there and maybe I'm wrong. Let me put that out there. Maybe I'm wrong, but my whole thing is, I want to believe in whatever it is I support. I do get the people, and there are situations where you should do this, where like you in the moment in front of other groups, you bite your tongue. You know what I mean? You get the person out of danger. You get the person out of the situation. You defend them, right? Because they're your people. But behind closed doors, you're like, what the fuck were you doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's like with a black woman where you see these black women, they get in arguments with white dudes. White dude pulls a gun and shit like that, right? In that moment, I'm going to get her out of fucking danger. I might have to draw my gun. You know what I'm saying? But when I pull her to the side and we're out of danger, bitch, you're getting fucking checked. This motherfucking pulled his gun and you kept running your fucking mouth. You see, addressing her about her running her mouth when the white guy standing there with the gun. I'm sure y'all remember that Texas video where the black woman tried to slap the gun out of white dude's hands and shit like that. Like what are you doing? Or the black woman where they were fighting over a parking spot and the black cowboy dude came to the rescue, right? And she's still outside the car running her fucking mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, in the moment, save her, but behind the scenes, bitch, what the fuck were you doing? Okay? I totally get that. I totally get that. Right? But like, this is after the fact. The show is over. What I don't like what people do is when they try to, defend black women's bad behavior. Right now, granted, black women were not part of this show. This was a joke, and the shit just didn't land well. Okay, but by the same token, I'm not about to sit up in here and act like black women don't have bad attitudes just because a white dude made a joke. I'm not going to sit up in here and act like I don't have the same problem. I'm not going to sit up in here and act like I don't know what the fuck Andrew Schultz is talking about, even though it was a joke. I'm not going to sit up in here and act like I don't know, like that came out of the void and it was just out of pocket. I'm not going to sit up in here and pretend and put on the capes for black women and be like, don't talk about our black queens. What are you talking about? Our black women don't have any attitudes. Hell, I know white women that have attitudes too. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Y'all can kiss my ass on that one. I'm not doing that because I want y'all attitudes to change. There shouldn't be a stereotype that black women have bad attitudes. I had to check somebody the other day. I was like, I'm sorry. At best, Jamaican black women might have the reputation of having bad attitudes. But ain't nobody sitting there going, oh, I'm going to go to Ghana and run into some neck rolling. I'm gonna go to Senegal and run into a woman snapping her fingers at me. No. Maybe a Nigerian woman might give you some attitude, right? But these other places, you know what I mean? Like, I don't expect to be cursed out by a South African woman. Hell, a South African woman, from what I've seen, they'll get their point across, and you'll be like, damn, she's mad at me, but it didn't feel like it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? With the accent and everything else, like, it's like they're calm. They're calm people. They're calm people. They're not angry people. And yes, I understand African American women, different circumstances, environment, everything. Black people got a lot to be angry about. But when you start talking about taking that shit out on, the people that you're trying to have a relationship with, that's a problem. I was listening to somebody talk the other day, and they were just basically saying point blank period. They're like, basically, black people don't have any business. Black African Americans don't have any business being together because we got too much trauma. We have too much trauma, as a people, and we tend to take it out on each other. So they basically felt like black people, don't have any business being with each other. And it was, the irony is Nelly Fuller said the same thing about black men. He just said point blank, if black men don't have anything constructive to do, they don't need to be around each other. Because, it's just going to turn into an argument. Niggas start, it's like what is it? The freaking, what's that shit? The idle hands is the work of the devil or something like that. Yeah. Like, black men will focus on the dumbest shit when they don't have anything constructive to do. Oh, nigga, you ain't this. Oh, nigga, you ain't that. Oh, nigga, like, all that shit. Nigga, I don't know who you think, nigga. They start fighting. Like Nelly Fuller was talking about when he was talking about, Jimmy at the bar. I don't know if y'all can find that clip, but there's a clip of him talking about Jimmy, Jimmy at the bar and, having a knife fight and, motherfuckers going down, to a bar and just picking fights, just starting shit. Right? Because they don't have anything constructive to do. So anyway, I'm saying all that to just say, I didn't interpret it like everybody else interpreted it. I'm like, black women do have bad attitude problems. You should expect there to be jokes about you for having bad attitude problems because that's how stereotypes and jokes work. All this, cancel culture type of shit, same crap that they try to do to Dave Chappelle because he made jokes about the LGBT community. You know what I mean? And then he just kept making more jokes. Right? See, it's always hee hee ha ha when it's somebody else. When they make jokes about somebody else, it's hee hee ha ha. And it just seems like when it comes to these jokes, black women got the thinnest skin of all. Now, like I said, it may be because they don't have any sort of counterbalance, to it. You know what I mean? But I don't trip when jokes are made about, black men. Like y'all remember that video where the white guy was like, it was like, it was a video starts off, it's a clip. It's like, what was the video? Tell me you're not black without telling me you're not black. And the white dude was like, challenge accepted. He walks in his front door and he's like, as soon as he walks in the door, the kids are like, it's like, Dad's home. And then all of a sudden you hear all the kids like running to the door and shit like that. And then the video clip ends. Like, I'm like, yeah, shots motherfucking fired. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, damn. You know what I'm saying? But again, that was the joke. That was the joke. You know what I mean? Like if I make a joke about white boy mass shooters, white men can't do anything but just take that shit. Y'all, they can't do nothing but just take it. If I make a joke about white mass shooters, because we all know disproportionately who's out here shooting up the schools and the movie theaters and the parks and the carnivals and insert you name it. Large crowds of people. We already know who's doing that. Okay, making a joke about a black mass shooter, it just won't hit. It won't hit. White guys try to do it all. Well, what about Chicago? Well, if I stay out of Chicago, nigga, like if I stay out the south side of Chicago, I don't have to worry about getting shot by Chicagoans. But when it comes to mass shooters, I could be at the mall, you know what I'm saying, looking for some new J's and shit like that, and all of a sudden I hear pop, pop, pop echoing through the food court. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like that could happen anywhere. 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen in the burbs. You see? So, like, again, if I made a joke about mass shooters, white guys can't do nothing but take it. So, like I said, all that policing jokes and shit, I ain't really with it. I get the whole, these guys are from the UK and, they have a different, orientation. Who knows what their mindset is. I'm like, hey, they non-foundational black Americans, they ain't really got nothing to do with us. I already know that Tariq Nasheed would have clapped back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what does this have to do with us? I mean, this is too far across the pond for me. You know what I mean? That's why I don't use what's going on in the UK. Like, you ain't see me use a video of some woman in the UK, and I don't speak on women in the UK. I'm like, they're African or they're Caribbean black, and much of what they do, they adopt from African American women. So like, I don't use them. I'm like, if my problems with African American women, goddamn it, I'm talking about African American women. I'm not talking about black women, the diaspora. You ain't see me make no videos talking about black women abroad. This is about AA women, foundational black American women. That is what I know. That is what I'm familiar with. Okay, I've dated African women, and the crazy thing is, like how much it gets past the initial phases to where I'm actually consistently dealing with them because they don't have the African American, disrespectful disposition towards black men. So I don't have, like, I cannot emphasize this enough. I don't have no beef with black women of the diaspora. None. You know what I mean? You ask me, well, what's your problem with Zimbabwe women? What's your problem with women from Rwanda? I was like, I don't have any problem with women from Rwanda. What are you talking about? Yeah, but you got a problem with black. I have a problem with foundational black American women. That's what I got a problem with. I don't have a problem with women, from freaking, Senegal. What's your problem with women from Burkina Faso? I don't have any problem with women from Burkina Faso. Like, what the fuck? What's your problem with women from? I don't have any problem with women from Mali. I don't. What about Gambia? I don't have any problem with women from Gambia. Like, you can list the whole continent. I don't have a problem with them. What about your problem with women from Jamaica? I don't have any problem with women from Jamaica, although I did date a woman from Jamaica. You know what I mean? But I don't have any problem with them, like that. I know that they can be sassy too, but like they There's a limit on their shit. All these other women have governors. African American women don't have any damn governors like you saw with the Figueroa. I mean, just think about it. Do you think you would see Teselin Figueroa and what she did? And do you think you would see that on any other black TV station anywhere around the world? Would you see that on Jamaican television? Would you see that on, any other Caribbean island, the Bahamian television? Would you see a woman turning up like that? I don't think so. Ghanaian television, Nigerian television, would they be turning up, speaking over men? Like, would they really be doing that? I'm not saying not pushing back. Oh, push back all day. Absolutely. Right. It's supposed to be a conversation. Right. But I'm saying, the whole, I'm going to try to make this black man bendeth thy knee. Are you married? Are you married? Like, no. With all that attitude, I'm a big dog. Show me a clip of a African or Caribbean woman talking about I'm a big dog. With some men up there. I'm not talking about like, don't give me the y'all at the Caribbean rhythm, Jamaican festival. Yeah, there's gonna be ratchet behavior there. Yeah. Don't sit there and show me a black woman, at some dance hall, in the background, pew, 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 got the little Jamaican horn and shit. Don't show me that, because I already know that's where the ratchets come out. No, I'm talking about where you're supposed to. You're talking about elections, political space, and you're having a conversation, and I'm a big dog. You ain't gonna see nothing shit. You ain't gonna see no shit like that. You ain't gonna see no shit like that. So, like I said, unpopular opinion, but this is how I feel about the whole Andrew Schultz, and the James and Fuhad or whatever his name is situation. That's just how I feel about it. I'm like, this is fucking nothing burger. If you want your reputation to change your behavior, change the way you represent yourself, and that shit'll go away. You know what I mean? But as long as you gotta make it to where if even somebody says it, it doesn't really stick. That's what you gotta do. You gotta make it to where it doesn't stick. So anyway, that's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.